Hello everyone, welcome to the Fundamental Analysis tutorial series for Forex traders. We are going to discuss another topic today. So let's see what we have today. Today we are going to discuss causes of recession. As you know, the economy is in very bad shape these days and everybody is fearing recession. So let's see what recession is and what causes recession. So what is recession? Recession is a synonym of contraction is business cycle in which overall economic activity declines significantly. Yeah, we know that. And broadly speaking, a recession is popularly defined as 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. As GDP, we get negative figures, then we determine, and if it spans for 2 quarters consecutively, then economists declare that it is a time that we are in a recession. So what triggers recession? Recession triggers when aggregate demand drops due to less consumer spending and decreasing manufacturing growth, employment, and income. And when we have a GDP down by almost 10%, which is a lot. So when GDP is down by 10%, so this is one of the major indication that we are entering a recession. And then there is a prolonged 3 or 4 year recession is there, and when that happens we call it an economic depression. So let's now look at recession, that when we declare recession or when we know that we are in a recession. So in UK, most popular, 2 consecutive quarters of declining GDP is considered the arrival of recession. And in USA, there is this institute, National Bureau of Economic Research, that officially declares the dates of all phases of business cycles by assessing all the factors of US economy. And NBER defines recession when it sees decline in the following indicators. For example, real GDP, real income, employment, industrial production, wholesale and retail sales. But in European Union, they have a different way, they have a different criteria of determining the recession, as they determine employment rate and the depth of decline of economic activity to determine whether it's a recession or not. Now let's look at what are the causes of recession. Number one, a sudden economic shock. Number two, excessive debt. Number three, asset bubbles. Number four, too much inflation. Number five, too much deflation. And number six, technological change. All right, let's look at now more detail one by one. So when we have a sudden economic shock, we see economic shock is an unexpected problem that results into disastrous financial damage. For example, in 1970s, OPEC cut off the supply of oil to the US without any warning, and that resulted into a great recession. And we saw there were endless lines at gas station, and there was almost all economies of the world, there was quite of a shutdown. So second cause of recession is debt, when there is excessive debt, and it could be both by individuals and businesses, and cost of servicing the loans increases manifold, and increasing debt defaults and bankruptcies then cripples the economy. For example, the housing bubble in 2007-2008 in USA led to the Great Recession, is a prime example of excessive debt causing a recession. So number three, we have asset bubbles. So what happens when investing decisions are driven by emotion? Bad economic outcomes are not far behind. Investors become too optimistic during a strong economy, and in this regard, former Fed Chair Alan Greenspan famously referred to this tendency as irrational exuberance in describing the outsized gains in the stock market in the late 1990s. So what happens with this irrational exuberance terms or phenomena? It inflates stock market or real estate bubbles, and when that bubble pops up, panic selling can crush the market, resulting into a recession. Number four, too much inflation. So inflation is the steady upward trend in prices over a period of time. We all know that. Inflation is not bad as per se, but then excessive inflation is a dangerous phenomenon. Central banks control inflation by raising interest rates, and higher interest rate depress economic activity as a result of it. And out of control inflation was an ongoing problem in the US in the 1970s. And what happens that the Federal Reserve, they had different tools to counter the inflation, and to break that cycle, Reserve rapidly raises the interest rate, which caused a recession at that time. Number five, we have too much deflation, too much inflation, and now we have too much deflation, the opposite of that. While runaway inflation can create a recession, deflation can be even worse. Deflation is when prices decline over time, which causes wages to contract and which further depress prices, right? When a deflationary feedback loop gets out of hand, people and business stop spending, which undermines the economy. Central banks and economists have a few tools to fix the underlying problem that cause deflation. And for example, the best example of deflation we have recently experienced, it was in the 1990s when Japan struggled with the deflation throughout most of the 1990s, caused a severe recession. And number six, we have technological changes. Since 1990, there is a rapid change in new technologies, the IT technology, the information age. And what happens, new inventions increase productivity and help the economy over the long term. But there can be short-term periods of adjustment to technological breakthroughs. In the 19th century, there were waves of labor-saving technological improvements, and then the Industrial Revolution made entire professions obsolete, sparking recessions and hard times. And today, we are seeing artificial intelligence everywhere, and some economists worry that artificial intelligence and robots could cause recession by eliminating whole categories of job, and we are already have experienced that. Uh, okay, so that was about it. Thank you very much for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.